Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State said the local government elections in the state will be held on Saturday as scheduled despite a court order barring it. A federal high court in Abuja on Monday barred the Independent National Electoral Commission from releasing voters' register to the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. ATN earlier reported that the judge, Peter Lifo, barred the Inspector General of Police and the State Security Services from providing security for the elections. The case was instituted by the All Progressive Congress in Rivers State under the leadership of Tony Okocha, the former chairperson of the party caretaker committee in the state, who was sacked by a court. Justice Lifo held that RISEC had failed to comply with key provisions of the electoral law, including the requirement to publish a 90-day notice before setting an election date. In an apparent move to reassure the people that the election will be held, Fubara visited RISEC headquarters in Port Harcourt on Monday, where he met with the Commission's chairperson, Adolphus Enebeli, and other principal officers. During the visit, Governor Fubara insisted that the election will be held on Saturday as scheduled, emphasizing that it would be the best election ever in the state. Meanwhile, Rivers State chapter of the All Progressive Congress, loyal to a former Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amechi, has declared that it supports the conduct of the local government elections in the state, scheduled for October 5, 2024. The party has also stated that it is participating in the elections and has indeed submitted the names of its candidates for the various positions. The party made its position known in a letter to the chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission Headquarters, Abuja, titled, Position of the Rivers State All Progressive Congress on the forthcoming local government election.
No political parties can self-form without the knowledge of the national party.
So now are you saying that because the arguments the APC has, the Emeka Beke-led faction has, and they clearly stated it in their statement and the letter they wrote to INEC, they said that there is a court judgment authenticating the chairmanship of Emeka Beke. Meanwhile, the National Working Committee of your party, APC, has distanced themselves from the court judgment and also said that they recognize the leadership of the Tony Okocha-led faction. Now, the decision of the National Working Committee of APC to de-recognize Emeka Beke and still work with the Tony Okocha-led faction, is that not contempt of court?
Now, let me tell you something. You know why I didn't want to dive into that? That is another thing altogether.
Because that's part of the issue.
Yes, I'm not telling you that. Firstly, the national party does not have a right to do otherwise. You know, the only right they have is to go on appeal and appeal the case and then come back. So I'm no longer talking about the authority or the authenticity of Emeka Beke. I'm talking about process.
All right.
Do you understand? Assuming without conceding. Now, I'm saying that assuming without conceding there were no issues in Rivers State APC, that Emeka Beke is standing as he is, and assume that what court has said, whether we like it or yes, but that he is. I am not telling you that there are processes in the party through which we have candidates. And part of the process is, I said, number one, is that there will be primaries. I mean, the sense of form. And before the sense of form, that the party will call a state executive committee, not the state working committee, the state executive committee, wherein a decision will be taken to take any of the item, which is either by direct, indirect, or by voice vote. And that after that, then there will be sense of form, and then there will be primaries, and then we will not submit our listing, assuming there is no problem in the party. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Now, at that point, I said, this whole thing is not done. Now, what we now heard is that, we have candidates. How? How do I know? Okay, for instance, assuming that we are not, that in my local government, there is a party chairman, a party candidate from my local government, and there's a party...
not aware of it.
They are not aware, and there's a party candidate as councillor in my ward, and that I'm not aware. So when did they invite? Where was the primaries? What did he do? Do we just write and give? I have told you various ways at which I said election is firstly, whether internally or externally, it's not an event, it's a process. Right. And that process has not been taken, so he cannot therefore claim that we have candidate. I am not talking about his legitimacy or otherwise. That's not where I want to dive into now.
You're looking at the process.
The process
by which this candidates
because when did he come? When did the court even reinstate him? This process has gone far.
The window of primaries
is far and gone. So he just came and then wrote name. That is why I said, you see, I don't want to talk about all of that. But then if you come to what the governor said, His Excellency, Governor of Rivers State said, he said the election will go ahead in spite of court this thing. And now let me tell you the difference. The other court, the High Court of Rivers State, said the election should hold.
Yes.
Now this other court came with certain issues and said no. They are not said the court didn't say the Federal High Court didn't say the election should hold. You know what they said? They said INEC do not release voters registration card. Police do not attend voters registration card. The question will be, can you go ahead and conduct election? And they said the reason being that they were supposed to be giving notice. INEC was supposed to be giving notice even
before the announcement
of the election timetable. It's not even about the election. So which means that having given you would have collected it before you now go ahead. For instance, a party cannot conduct its national convention without first writing INEC. It is upon the agreement with INEC that they will now come and now tell members we are going to. So which means ab initio, they were not even supposed to let us know. It is assumed by illiterate people like us that they would have done that. And now the people are saying no, they didn't write them because they didn't meet up that. So if they didn't meet up that, the question is, can a recent election conduct election without the voters register? The question is no.
But the thing here is that the RISEC chairman, retired Justice Adolfo Senebeli, says that he already has the 2023 voters register.
Now
he had it as at last year.
2023.
Yes.
Now, Chioma, let me tell you something that we know. I have the voters register. That does not make it legal. I was talking the 122,000 units of Nigeria. I have the voters register. Yet I cannot use it for anything because it's not legal. The fact that you have the register, you are just like any pact of, if it's not communicated officially, you know, somehow.
And probably that informs the statement of the Federal High Court, because the Federal High Court did not just say bar INEC from releasing the voter register.
Yes.
You know, the State High Court, in the when I was reading the judgment, the State High Court, empowered the ordered RISEC to conduct local government elections with 2023, I'm putting in 2023 voters register. But in the case of the the Federal High Court, the Federal High Court barred INEC from releasing the certified.
That's what I'm saying.
The certified voter register. So when I read in between the lines, I just smiled and said, okay, no, there is a difference. So it means that the RISEC chairman could have the voter register, but the voter register is not certified.
Now, let me also tell you something, Chairman. Even in Edo, the recent election that was just in Edo, that's INEC own conducted election. INEC will have to publish their what's it called, voters register at the polling, different pool. Do you know the reason? The reason is that between when this voters register was done until today, there are people you will have to defranchise. People may have died. Some people will have gone to up to 18, and so the feel is like I've said. If it is not communicated officially, you do not have it.
All right.
So I think that is why. But the governor said, I said, even the president cannot say go and ahead to conduct the election or otherwise. But of course, there's a court. They will have to be the one to tell us why. So if the police is not here, he is saying that I can provide you security outside the police. Amen. He is also saying that they can go ahead and conduct election without a voters register. I don't know how that will be.
You said the governor said he will provide security outside the police.
No, I said when he said we are going ahead, assuming.
All right.
Now, it is for the police to either say yes or no. Because if the police says, okay, they are going to come, we don't know. If the police is not going to come, whether he's telling us that he's going to conduct an election without security, then whether he's going to also conduct the election without INEC official voters register. You know, these are the things that you must understand. See, I don't want, like I said one time, I said, God forbid that you sin. But if you have to sin, now sin with sense. I mean that, look at, if you have to avert certain things, if you wanted to do all these things, Chima, what stopped RISEC from writing INEC? What stopped RISEC? And I can tell you, when they say 90 days, if not for this, that this thing is out, INEC could have released that voters register even 2 to 3 days, even before the announcement, if they just do that. My problem with us in government is we would have had a space where the country would have spent so much money in giving us experience up to the position of a high court judge. And then you begin to fall into those kind of small technical mistakes that shouldn't be there in the first instance. Because I can tell you, Choma, they should listen to me, that even RISEC didn't know that they were going to hold this election. Let me tell you, the election that is going to be conducted. Yes, the election that is going to be conducted on Saturday. That's Saturday 5th, assuming. The names of the electoral officers that will go for training were published on Saturday. And now the training is now ongoing. To train how many people? Choma, there are 6,700 and something units, and you are supposed to have the minimum of 3 per unit, assuming that's just for, not for local government, not the world, not this thing. And so you are going to just begin to train them. How? What kind of training are you going to give them between now and they are supposed to go back to their local government, carry the non-sensitive materials to this other place? Secondly, when are they printing the voters card? The names of the people that are candidates just appeared last week. So when are they going to print that card?
And APC now is flaunting a candidate.
And APC is flaunting candidate. APP. So many parties do have 3-4 candidates as one contesting in one. What are you going to do? All of those things. So have you published for us? Look at, go and publish them. Let's see. So you see that, okay, you're going to publish them. And then they have made mistake. They've gone to bank to buy a form for the purchase, and then they went to bank. You know what bank means? That means that the date and the time will be there. So all of your own process that you put in yourself, you failed it. The chairman said, and I quote him, the justice,
the RISEC
chairman, the respected justice, said, and I quote him, he said that he confessed himself that because of the last protest, that 10 days, that 10 days, destabilized the timing of the process, electoral process, their timetable. I should have reasonably thought that what they are coming up to say that, okay, let us gain another 10 days.
Yeah, postpone
it to another 10 days, wherein all of this, look, we couldn't meet this because of 10 days. So every other thing will now be shifted to 10 days.
All right.
That's my thinking. So,
all right. Daniel Momo, a lot has been said by Cheesy.
Yeah.
You have equal time to exhaust your opinion on this.
You see, for me, the things contained in what you just read out is that there is a judicial crisis. Some of us are not listening to, and everybody pretends like it is normal. Something bad can happen when courts of competent jurisdictions go to sit on a matter. For example, how does a state high court compel a federal body to do certain things that ab initio you knew from beginning that you do not have that power to so do? That is one. You see, I think whether it is the Judicial Council, whether it is the body of bankers, whether it is MBA, whichever body is responsible, I think there needs to be a real conversation around how judges should behave. And certain penalties should look at the US. This man who supported Trump, what's his name now? This lawyer who was saying that the 2020 election were not correct. Just about 3 weeks ago, he had been debarred. He can no longer practice in the US. Why? Because the body responsible has gone through the process, called him, and he cannot validly what is said in public. And I think for me, that is the angle for me that is so dangerous. Now, each faction had gone ahead with whatever court judgment everybody is holding on to. And to me, it is dangerous. We should never, ever allow such to happen. Then two, he mentioned the case of this man, what's his name? that Tony
Okocha led APC faction.
As at the time Tony Okocha filed that judgment in court, he was the validly
caretaker committee chairman.
You can't dismiss it. You can't rewrite that. You can't overturn it. Even though the court has said he's no longer, and that pronouncement has a date, and it takes effects from that date. It doesn't go back in history to say whatever Tony Okocha had done has been undone. No, it doesn't do that. It is for you now to go back to the same court and say, this is the issues. Whether I want to withdraw the matter or want to do anything. But as at the time Tony Okocha filed those issues, it was a valid something. Thirdly, I think that, I don't know whether the people in government watch our last conversation here. Somebody reached out to me and he was saying, no, these were not the issues and all of that. And he said, somebody will call me later. I think it was around 6 p.m. that day. Someone called me and we were talking. I said, this is Daniel Momo. Yeah, we started talking. He said, no, part of the things I want to say here, which is that when they were inaugurated, after they took their oath of office, when they were inaugurated, that the RISEC chairman wrote INEC that he told the body, all of the executive of RISEC, that we needed to start, according to the person, that we needed to start the preparation towards the election. And that they wrote INEC, and INEC acknowledged the letter from RISEC. And this was around July. And that INEC invited them to Abuja. And INEC released the updated, according to the updated voter register to them. And that if I need, he can forward to me and all of that. And all of the compendium about where the was and all, that they got it sometime in July. And so if the court is coming to say that, oh, do not give to them, what he told me was that, okay, imagine that he had gone on that and the food he got, he had eaten that food and he had gone to toilet. Would any court refer to say, oh, the food you collected that time, can you please return those things back? So that they have already gotten that voter register, according to the person, that they have already gotten that voter register, and so they would not need, no court can now tell them to reverse that decision. And my question to the person was, one, even if you get something, the court will tell you that the processes that brought you and all of your arrangement is invalid. It can be nullified. Mm-hmm. But I think all they are trying to do now is that, because yesterday, I mean, on Friday should have been the day where they have published some of these things. But unfortunately, I live in a local government, in a ward, I didn't see anything. What if I'm interested to vote? Nothing. I didn't see that. And so I think there is that burden of proof on them.
On RISEC.
On RISEC. Because, like you said, election is not an event that we just come in a reception where we just entertain ourselves and everybody goes home. Mm-hmm. There is a process, and that process is specifically spelled out by the electoral law, saying this day, this particular day, this should happen in this day, this should be like this. So that what happened in Zamfara, they missed it by 24 hours. If you remember Zamfara, where all of them, 24 hours, APC, only. They missed what they were supposed to do, the primary, 24 hours. They were supposed to conduct it this day, they conducted the next day. All of them, from the governor, all of them were sacked. All, House of Rep, senators, all were sacked. Because the electoral law has spelled it out that you don't just wake up on your own when you feel like, no, there are processes. I think lastly, what he said, you see, like he said, APC or any political party is one. It is the federal that goes down like, it's okay, because Ganduje cannot be here. So he needs a representative here. And that representative is the chairman here and other executive bodies to take decisions and relate to them. There's only one political party. And INEC can, no party can say, oh, Edo State APC. Yes, because Edo State is different from when you are now trying to look at them vis-a-vis the states. You can say Edo State APC, Rivers APC, Bayelsa APC. But when it comes to the party APC, it's one. So how then where was the agreement reached and all of that forwarded to the national to say, this is what we agree to do this election by direct, indirect, or whatsoever means that we wanted. This is how much we decided to sell the form. Whether we will do for women or whether our party will say, in this local government election, let's give 25% to women. There should be some real conversations that you have had before that time. It is not to wake up to say, we have sent names. No, it doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, it doesn't do that way. Then lastly, I think the governor, I sympathize with him. I think there is a judicial crisis that we need to watch out for. And those who would hear should please hear now. It is not good. Go and check how many we have had from River State. It's more than 30. From the State House of Assembly issue, to the governor issue, to the budget issue, to all kinds of injunctions that you cannot even remember some. All kinds. You wake up on a Sunday, you will hear that a judge has granted
ex parte order.
No, how? So please, for those who are in charge, they should please help us, because crisis can come out from this judicial rascality that we're seeing around.
You mean, when you say judicial rascality, you mean with regards to the local government elections?
Not regards to local government, all kinds of injunctions. Even when you know that a court has sat on this, and you do not have
the jurisdiction over that person,
you sit. Okay, look at the matter the appeal court dealt between the State House of Assembly. He said the state high court has no power to even sit in the first place. And you have wasted resources, you have wasted time, you have wasted a lot of things, and no penalty, consequences attached to it. And the judge is just there. Tomorrow he issue another order again. And so for me, I think there should be consequences to what these people are engaging. You know, all kinds of things. So maybe tomorrow somebody will just wake up and say, there is an injunction that this woman should not be your wife again. I don't understand.
Now, when you talk about judicial rascality, I think it's a situation in River State that has branches. Now, if I may ask, now the courts giving orders and counter orders, I mean courts of competent jurisdiction giving orders and let me use sister jurisdiction. Equal jurisdiction. However, in the jurisdiction, there is the Federal High Court has an exclusive reserve, which you mentioned, you know, initially when you started speaking, and you said, how does a State High Court sit to give order to a federal institution? Because of course the State High Court, according to the Constitution, does not have that jurisdiction to entertain matters pertaining or even give order to federal institutions. Now, that's on one hand. The question would be, even given the judicial rascality that you have painted right now in River State, how about disobedience to court orders and court judgments? Okay. Isn't that what is playing out in the River State Council elections right now? No. Now, APC is arguing, and APP as well, they're arguing that the order from the State High Court came first. You see the argument?
You see?
So that the first one is the one that is subsisting. Now, the question would be, like you have said, does the State High Court have jurisdiction to give order to federal institutions?
No. No. But I don't want to believe also that these respected judges do not know that. I do not want to believe. That is my assumption. I do not want to believe that they do not know. Then if they do, why then do they give such orders? For example, how do you compel INEC? INEC can't. You can't do that. It's a simple thing. I'm not a lawyer. But you know that you cannot compel a state.
You can only compel RISEC,
yes,
and not INEC.
Not INEC as a body, which is a federal institution. What it then means is that he's telling you go to a federal high court to do that. So it's a simple thing that you should know. Why waste time? Why waste resources? Why waste people's time to come to the court? When you should have just said, no, I do not have jurisdiction over this matter.
However, there is a caveat. There is something to this, and to a large extent, one may say that the APP Council played a smart one. And probably a lot of people are overlooking that, but it's important I point it out. Now, in the suit that the APP, instituted, that suit was against RISEC, the Rivers State government, and the governor himself. That suit did not, the federal institution, INEC was not a respondent in that suit. The Nigerian police was not, they were not respondents. The respondents were strictly state institution and the governor as well. So one would say that the judge in this instance had jurisdiction to hear that matter. However, in giving that order, hold on. But in giving that order, he now had to give order with regards to a document owned by a federal institution.
Then the federal institution was coming.
And which that takes
because he's only the federal institution that can defend his own document.
So now that takes the matter out of the state.
It takes it automatically out of the state because both the sensitive and non-sensitive materials belongs to INEC.
All right.
And INEC is a federal body. And you should not. Again, I think that in all of this crisis, I expect that INEC has its staff here in Rivers State. They have in all states. And it is high time they speak out. This silent about these issues, no, it doesn't.
It's not helping matters.
No, they should. They should speak out. To say, no, we are compelled by so and so not to, or we have released. So that let's know where we're going. But this idea that you just keep quiet, like you exist in a vacuum or something that, no, you should speak out.
Right.
Because one way or the other, your name is being mentioned around some of this. It's just to even clear the air to say, we have heard stories like this, even though officially we have not getting any correspondent. But to set the record straight, this is what and what we do, and this is how far we have gone. So that he clears the hair on both sides.
All right.
But the idea that this silence from them, for me, it is golden.
All right. Chizzy,
yes.
You are itching to say something.
Well, a lot of things, man. When I saw Momo here, and I said, you are taking up the shine from me because you know why?
Why do you say that?
I respect intelligence. He's deep. He understands it. He understands. So you are not coming here to fight, to say this is, in a situation where somebody is not getting to know what you are saying. Actually, it looks to me like Chioma also have been called and some have bought. That's why she's trying to bring up the.
Why would you say?
I'm saying now. Allow me.
Why?
Journalist, you are. Emotionally, when we say but, not.
Why? Why am I being accused?
This is simple. Yes. Mama just said something. Thank God you interjected. Because you see, the first thing is, what is RISEC? People think RISEC is just about Rivers State. RISEC will not exist without INEC.
Of course.
RISEC will not exist without police. So which means if you sue RISEC on an activity, an outdoor activity, you are suing both INEC. And you don't bab somebody's hair in his absence.
Exactly.
Abiola said. You cannot grab somebody's hair in absence. If you have given RISEC commands, like a law, go and conduct an election, you are saying, go and follow the process. That's what you just said. Go and conduct the election. You say, go and follow the process. It is now incumbent on the people who the process lies on their own table. Because like I said, you talked about, in this instance, it means that there were no court judgment at all. You know why? Because they do not have right jurisdiction over INEC and over the police.
So the court does not have the rights.
This high court.
Hold on. The state high court in this instance
does not have the right.
Does not have the jurisdiction.
Yes.
To order RISEC to use the voter register.
They don't.
Because according to you, the voter register is a federal document.
Yes.
Belonging to a federal institution.
Yeah.
All right.
Even RISEC is part of the federal institution. You know why? RISEC is a product of the electoral law 5A or something that gives INEC power to allow RISEC. That's why in the way of monitoring, somehow a fatally role. That's why INEC will have to give them the voters register and all of that. So I was coming to where he said, okay, somebody told him about them releasing documents by June. You know, that's what he said. July last year.
No, this year.
This year.
July. That's what. Okay, I didn't even ask whether it was this year. Okay.